Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I have kind of done a bit of a mishmash, or I'm going to do anyway, and I've used Pinterest. So I will put a link to this Pinterest, but I will just show you what I have done. So you will see here I've got a board that is just called pots. So I'll leave the link to this. And what I actually did was find lots of, well, I keyed in Egyptian pots actually. And so I have taken a couple of these Egyptian pot pictures. I've got larger ones here and blue greys. So if I go here, you'll see that there are a few more. And if I go here on the blue-grey one, you'll see that there's quite a few more here. So, you know, do feel free to have a little look at my Pinterest and my pots board, because that's where my inspiration has come from. And I'm just going to change my screen now so that I can show you a bit more. So I actually printed a couple of those off, and I decided that I quite liked this kind of stylized bee here, and I quite liked these stylized flowers. So I've put the two together and come up with this pencil sketch where I've put the bee and the flowers and I've put them on a pot. So that's what I'm going to be doing today and having a play with for once, because I don't use them, well, hardly ever. I'm going to be using this little gouache palette. Now, the actual palette is a Daniel Smith palette. It came free as an empty palette with another Daniel Smith set that I bought. So it was a completely empty palette with the empty half pans in. And I have pulled out some of my gouache and acrylic gouache. So I can tell you, hopefully, what I have put in here. So yeah, let's have a little look. So okay, so the Naples yellow is a Dala Rowney gouache. Then I've got yellow ash, or ash yellow, which is a whose is this? Turner? Holbein? Doesn't actually say. Anyway, it's this one. And it's ash yellow. And I think the A stands for acrylic gouache, but I just don't use these often enough, and I can't even remember whose make these are. I think they might be Turner's. Yeah, possibly. Next to that, I've got a yellow ochre, which was a Holbein gouache, just gouache, not acrylic gouache. But that was, yeah, that's the end of it there. I haven't got the tube because it was the last bit. Then we've got the burnt sienna, which is this one here. Oh, Holbein. These are Holbein. Okay, these are the Holbein acrylic gouache. Burnt sienna. Then we've got raw umber. Raw umber is this one, Linel or Linel. Le Franc and Bourgeois, it says at the top. Okay, so this is just gouache. Then what we've got is a Jaune Brilliant, which is the Holbein acrylic gouache. The Brilliant Orange was a tiny little Holbein tube of gouache. Then we've got, where is the red? Trying to find more. Chinese red. Okay. That is another La Franc and Bourgeois. That's this one. So that's in there. Neutral grey. Neutral grey number 2 is a Holbein. Neutral grey number 4 is also an acrylic gouache, Holbein. Then we've got Misty Green, same again. We've got Misty Blue. Now, I did have a turquoise blue in there, but there was such a tiny bit left that I've actually put on top this Hooker's Green, which is the Darla Rowney Hooker's Green, so that I can mix some greens. And then the final one is, oh, hold on, that was Schmalt Blue. And then Cerulean. Cerulean is another Darla Rowney. So I've got a real kind of mixture here. Some are gouache, some are acrylic gouache. And they're all different makes. But not that that matters particularly. You could, let's just pop that back. You could just use your own colours, but the colours that I've picked out to do this are yellow ochre, and what's this one, raw umber, Schmalt Blue, Jaune Brilliant, Misty Blue, neutral grey number 4, and ash yellow. So those are the colours that I'm going to be using, but you could pick something similar basically. So that's that. Let's get some water in and tissue, and we might need a smaller, there we go. Let's get some brushes. So I'm going to use my Princeton Snap size. What have we got? 12, 6 and 2. And we'll see how that goes. I'm not gonna do the background first. I'm going to do my bee and my flowers first and then get the background in. So I'm thinking I might want to use this number 2 brush, and I'm going to be looking at my bee here to try and get my colours, which I think are probably going to be the raw umber and the neutral grey number 4. I think I'm going to use those two to do my bee. So let's just have a little go. We need the darker colour to do these antennae. and the little head. So we'll get that in, and we need kind of an outline on these wings. And yeah, it's kind of outlined basically. So we'll get this part in. And what else is in the darker colour? Just the top part of our bee. I've decided that for September on my Patreon, the topic for the month is going to be everything bees. So that should be good fun. Not quite into September, but I just couldn't resist doing this little bee today. Right, now we need our lighter. Well, it's lighter, but it's not light. I could probably do with a little mixing palette as well, just to, as I can see how dark I'm getting this and how much water I want to add. So let's get these stripy bits in. When I was in the last year, I think it was the last year of my primary school, in the summer holidays we were given some homework where we had to pick a topic, and I picked Egypt as my topic, and yeah, with all the hieroglyphics and everything. And I think I've just always kind of been fascinated with all of that. So I think this stylized bee is rather lovely. Or it could be a wasp. Maybe it's a wasp. Maybe actually it might be a wasp, looking at the tail. You're probably all yelling at me down the screen going, Michelle, it's not a bee, it's a wasp. Okay, let's get this underbelly done. And there is our bee, looking rather lovely, actually. Now let me check what colours we might need for our flowers. So I'm thinking burnt sienna and this blue. It's got some green in here, actually. And I didn't pick out a green, but I'm not sure that I want green. So I think I will stick with burnt sienna and the blue. So let's get some burnt sienna. And so for these ones, we need the stems to be in this burnt sienna. Ooh. Shaky hand because of the angle that I'm at. Never mind. This is my practice one anyway. And then we need some burnt sienna in the bottom of these. Like that. Okay. Now we'll go for our blue. Let's get some blue. This is such a gorgeous colour. I'm guessing they probably would have used lapis lazuli. In Egyptian times, they would have been using minerals and earth pigments. So, okay. One of those has run a bit, but we'll see if we can sort that out in a minute. Because hopefully you all know me by now, and I really don't panic about these things. I think we need a line coming down there and a line coming down there. In fact, I'm not going to panic, I'm just going to leave it. And I do want a little bit, we'll just do a little bit on each of them as if it was meant to be. There. So as it kind of runs in a little bit. And I think I'm going to deviate a little bit from this. I've kind of got the shapes, but I just want to stick to a certain palette, so, or palette of colours anyway. So I'm going to do all of these in my beautiful blue. Like that. And then I think I'm going to use some of this misty blue to get some of the tops of these ones in. Like that. And then I'll also use that blue to do in between these other ones. I'm being very impatient today. I'm not waiting for things to dry. To be fair, I think the gouache, oops, wrong one, clean my brush. I think the gouache tends to dry a tad quicker than the watercolours do. There. And then in the top bit of these, I need to fill those little bits in. And I think we will go back to, let's go back to our darker grey number 4, neutral grey number 4, and get a, so yeah, I'm not copying exactly, just getting my idea from like that, which is quite nice. And we need a little dot in each of these. Like that. Yeah. Okay, now before I do the background, I am going to dry. So, back with you in a moment. And I think I'm also going to get a fine liner, and I think I'm going to do an outline on these. So this, I think we'll just define it a bit better. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm trying to think how I'm going to do my background and what I want that to look like. Do I just have some colours coming in and leave the middle bit the colour of the paper, maybe? That might be an idea. They're coming out quite nice now. I think they just needed defining a little bit. I'm not doing very well with my lines today, am I? One of those days. But we don't necessarily want things to be perfect. This is quite lovely and relaxing, I have to say. Just doing this outlining. Okay, I think they now look better. So, how am I going to do my pot? Whoa. I'm going to get my bigger brush out for starters. So I'm on my size 12. Where's my paint? Here it is. I think, what colour do we want to use? Should we go with a very watered down? If I remove, actually we can put it there and mix it up and water it down. This is the ash yellow. Let's just try a little bit at the bottom here. This is really quite watered down as far as gouache goes, anyway. Yes, I'm quite liking that. Looks like an antique-y brown colour. So, what I might need to do is twist it around a little bit. And I possibly should have done the background first, but I didn't. So we will work with what we have. Maybe some kind person will let me know how many times I got my head in the shot. I want to know that I'm getting a bit better at not doing that. Right, I'm going to turn this round now so that I can paint these bits in between here. But it's working out. It's going quite well. But maybe if you decide to do this, if you're, well, even if you're using watercolours, because this is a very pale colour, you could do your background first. I just wasn't sure what colour I wanted my pot to be, and therefore that's why I didn't do that bit a bit darker. Tricky bit. Oof, we've done it. And I think I'm going to add some of the raw umber into it now, because I want the inside bit to be a bit darker. Okay, let me just see what we have here now. Of course, I didn't stick my paper down either, did I? So let's continue with just making, don't want you to do that. There we go, that's better. The edges a bit darker. To help give it a bit of shape. Just get some water. I want to blend it out a bit better, because it doesn't. And we'll have it a bit darker at the bottom here, I think. All right, water, and then blend that, because it doesn't look like it's just being plonked there. Okay, so I think I also want to do some definition around there, but stay. I'm going to dry this. Oops, I'm out of shot. There you go. I'm going to dry this and come back. So sadly, I thought I was doing pause, and you've ended up watching me blow dry my painting. And then when I took myself off of pause, I actually stopped the recording. So there we go. However, all that I did after I had dried the painting was to get my fine liner back out and do some outlines around the pot and some of these little marks around the pot here, just to give the pot some shape. And there we go. I think for a first attempt, and to give me an idea of the colours that I might want to use, I think this was a nice experiment to do. And I really like my bee wasp. Let me know in the comments whether you think it's a bee or a wasp. That will be interesting, how many bees and how many wasps we get in the comments. So thank you so much for watching and bearing with me, knowing that I don't always get everything exactly right, and I don't spend hours editing because I really just don't have that amount of time at the moment. But hopefully it just comes across as real and not overly polished. So thank you so much for bearing with me. I really appreciate it. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay calm until I see you next time, hopefully. All right, bye for now.